Lemon Amiga present a late night video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey there, welcome to another Lemon Amiga video games review that wasn't, and here we go with another one. It's Operation Harrier. See a few of my high scores already on the high score table, and not that many people have heard about this, not many people have played it, and I recorded this for Series 3, so we're going back to maybe 2016, maybe 2015, and I'll write the exact date, of course, in that description. Operation Harrier was a U.S. Gold game, maybe even a conversion, I'm not quite sure, but you can see some of the coders on the game. I think John Dunning was one of the coders, and as far as I know, he coded Shinobi on the Amiga and had a hand apparently with Pirates, the CD version. I'm not quite sure, but those titles don't really stay on the screen very long. This was released by Creative Materials. You can see Lauren Campbell was the guy behind the graphics, and according to the very latest Lemon Amiga database, his only credit was Voodoo Nightmare, who created the graphics, but the creative guys went on to other better things like Rotox, which was a stab at a 3D game, and this is a 3D game. You might imagine this is an overhead shooter, but quite the opposite. Of course, major props to Kevin Collier, who created this wonderful music, and Kevin Collier also created music for Airstrike, Aquanaut, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mr. Heli, Microcosm, Rotox, and the amazing Savage, you might remember. And Savage is one of my favourite games I remember from back in the day. Definitely think the presentation on this game for a U.S. Gold game is phenomenal, and I really do love the music and the presentation of this game. It really sets this up to be something like Top Gun, which I'm not really sure if it is, but I'll let you be the judge of that, because we're going to play it twice, and I haven't seen it since I recorded it all those years ago, and so it's going to be a first time trip into the unknown for us. This goes out to my titanium backer Johnny Smoesau, or however you pronounce that second name. I haven't been in contact with him, so this is his video. And Smoesau maybe, I'm not quite sure. And Johnny Smo, whatever your name is, I really do love the fact that you're backing all our videos. So here we go with the first scenario. You can see it gives us a brief at the beginning of the game and also a map. Then our second objective is to load up our aeroplane, which isn't obvious what all of these things are until you add them. And so let's add something, let's add a payload, some bombs. We're going to need for bombing a target, you can have large bombs, small bombs, some rockets, and also some air-to-air, air-to-ground missiles. On our first mission, we're going to have to bomb a boat, so bombing things would be handy, but those air-to-ground missiles hopefully should take care of some of the payload, and you notice that we should have some room left for some rockets as well, and you can also repair your aircraft and refuel it, and check out the map as well. Wherever we are on that scenario, we're parked in the carrier in the bay. Check out the brief and we can get on with the mission. And you notice that I'm not really packing any rockets. I'm not sure whether there's any room on board. We can press fire whenever we like to take off. And then it will give us a 360 rotating degree view of the area, and yes, you can go high and low, change altitude and change direction and change the things that you're firing at. And we have a cruiser that we're supposed to be firing at. I'm not quite sure which of these targets is the cruiser, but you can see we can activate map mode and we can fly around in map mode, so that we don't have to keep an eye on the objective area all of the time, and we can sneak our way around using that mode until we get to the objective. And so you can see I'm flying around. I'm the white one at the bottom. I'm flying around in open space. You can see boats firing towards us, and I don't think that that's the objective. That's simply an enemy boat that is firing on us. Let's test out our missiles and let's see if we can destroy that thing. Of course, once we get damaged, we'll get some indication of that, and that's our plane, and we'll get a fire warning because our engines are on fire, and once all 4 engines are destroyed, we'll crash. See, we're having no luck whatsoever against that particular boat, and this is a huge boat that we're trying to take down at the moment. We'll need some bombs for that, and you can see zooming up and down, we can fly high, and that just makes us more vulnerable to those aircraft flying around, and we will get aircraft flying around, and look at that, ditched into the water. And this was recorded a long time ago, 30 frames per second, not 50, and so the colours are all over the place, and it was recorded using old software, but I always wanted to come back to this game. It's not that easy to understand, of course, and you'll have to understand the controls. Sink the enemy cruiser, and it gives us a map. I'm sure you can find the enemy target somewhere on that map. Let's just reload again, and yet again, hopefully the sound effects and the music might not be in sync with this game simply because it was recorded a long time ago. You can see we can't have too many of any one item, but we can have more than what we carried last time. It depends on our payload, of course, and so we can have the rockets, which it looks like that we're not collecting at the moment. Let's take off again, and let's fly around the area. There are ground targets to knock out and forts and things like that. And of course, if you're taking on a ship, it's best at low altitude. You can fly as fast as you want, as slow as you want. You can stop because this is a Harrier. And so let's take off again. Let's fly north. Let's check out the blue boat in the corner, because I think the blue boat is the enemy. Or let's take at least a tour of the landscape, and you can see we are under attack by boats that are just hanging around. You can take them on, and also planes flying around, but if they are not our major objective, and I'm not quite sure what it is in this case, but you might as well leave them alone. This is a full battle going on, and so you best just to ignore all of it. Let's just go for this major boat in the corner. It's a blue one, so I'm thinking that might be a major target. Have we found the right target? It's a very small boat, it looks like, from this altitude, but we're getting some shots on target. You can see it taking some damage. No effect whatsoever with those bombs because they didn't line up on target because I wasn't over it, and so I'm going to have to fly down to that thing and try to hit it maybe at closer quarters. You can see it's backing off, trying to seek sanctuary in that bay, and you can see these missile things that I'm lobbing at the moment, they will have a certain range, and unfortunately my aircraft is about to blow up. So you can see a helicopter as well. Everything is around here. This isn't quite seek and destroy, but it's got that seek and destroy feel about it. And so if you like that seek and destroy kind of feel, nobody's even heard or played this game. And look at that, we're heading towards off the map. And there are red targets and green targets, and I think the green ones are safe. I think those are our targets. Not quite sure, and I guess you'll get to know this game after you've played it often enough and read those instructions. But you can see the enemy buildings opening fire on us, so we're going to go to this green square here. This is the friendly airport, and maybe if you land at the friendly airport on the runway, we'll fix our aircraft, but obviously you have to be online with the runway to do that. Luckily we can press fire pretty quickly to get back into that action and skip most of this dialogue as well, and that's great. It means we don't have to sit through everything. We can hold down the fire button and that really skips on through it. So let's hold down that fire button and get on to that mission again. We've died, and I'm not quite sure, maybe we have 3 lives in this game. You can see we haven't seen that high score table yet, but let's load it up again. And this time with the bombs, and maybe dropping bombs on the target is going to be better than those missiles. And, well, why not have all of the lot, and let's see how we do in this case. Pressing fire, we can get straight onto the action, so let's take on maybe the same boat again. There are lots of boats dotted around, and I'm absolutely not sure, but everything moves around in real time, so this is a real-time action game. We're supposed to blow things up in real time, and there's a huge war happening, and hanging around the wrong boat is maybe the wrong thing to do. I think it comes up with a target over the right target. And look at that, mission complete, return to base. So whatever target it was, I've destroyed it, and so let's return back to that carrier and see if we can land on the carrier. That's not easy done, it's easier said than done, so let's see if we can perform it. Finally, we've got that thing under a stop. Let's hazard a guess at a landing. And what can you say? Tremendous. That's mission completed, and by luck, not by judgment, that is mission completed literally, and so we move on to the next one. Satellite reports that a cruiser is sunk. Well done, you'll be promoted. Thanks a lot, boss. The enemy aircraft at the grid reference, 0204. So all we need to do is to fly out to 0204. And that's the threat. Let's get on with it. Bomb the runway. Well, that's an interesting mission, and that's definitely not something that I was expecting. And this isn't a Top Gun simulator, but it definitely is multi-mission, multi-height, multi-angle, that kind of thing. and there is just something about this game which wants to be immaculate but actually fails because it's a U.S Gold game. And so this thing could have been amazing. You can see it hasn't fixed our aircraft, which is amazing, and it means that this thing is pretty uncontrollable. So let's go on our one remaining engine back to that target. Let's see if we can repair our aircraft this time. And if you remember, there was a repair aircraft icon that we could have done. What are you doing back here, you idiot? Get back to it. It's grid reference 0204. Bomb the enemy runway. Okay, there it is. Fine. Let's this time repair. Fully repaired. Congratulations. Fully fueled. Amazing. So now, let's get on with it. It's great that this map doesn't give us any indication of the grid references at all, but you can see the grid references are on our aircraft, so I can't really tell what it's saying, all 618 at this point. So let's fly up. It says Elixir Airport or something like that. Harrier Airport, well, that's where we're going. Enemy Airport perhaps. It's a green square on the map. So we've got the bombs, if I can remember how to toggle with the bombs, and obviously I don't know the key controls at the moment without looking those up on the Lemon Amiga website. Enemy aircraft are taking off from the airport. When was the last time you saw that in an Amiga game? Well, I guess bomb the hangar. And it looks like I'm dropping bombs on the runway at the moment, which damages it, as you can see. But damaging the runway isn't going to do much, except for damage the aircraft, which would have been left behind, but they're not. You can see those aircraft are bombing me, so it would be a good idea to take care of them. But whilst, look at that rocket, straight on there. So whilst the good bombing is good, well, I can't do any more with that. Let's just evade all those fighters. And this is just like Ace Combat with the red fighters going around in circles all around us. And this was as close to Ace Combat as you're likely to see on the Amiga. So thank you for viewing this review that wasn't. And I can't really think of much to say about this apart from it could have been a great game. And it could have been amazing, but I'm not sure that it really was in practice. Thank you.